Okay, let's go, finally. It is the first game of Russia F versus AsAsp. First division of League of Empires, and the map is Team Islands. So I guess we might expect some landings or stuff here, but let's see, let's have a breakdown of the city first. As you can see from the city emblems, it's a full mirror here. So they seem to have the exact same plan here, picking some strong naval sims for the occasion. So first here for Russia, Wladysek with the Italians. Italians go more smoothly through the ages, since it costs less, 25% less, I believe, to go 15% less. Sorry, 15% less to go to the next stage, and also have some bonuses applying to water, making them a strong naval sim. Cheaper fishing ships, cheaper dock and university technologies, I think. In the pocket we have a Believe Me with the Vikings, frequently picked civilization for islands maps or naval maps. Docks, team bonus, docks are cheaper. So, and Vikings of course have access to long boats for their unique unit in the cast stage. No significant difference between the teams there, since both teams have Viking pockets though. To the north side we have Mr. Moon with the Byzantines. Byzantines, faster firing fire galleys, isn't that it? I will double check that as well. Fire ships attack 25% faster. And also their Imperial Age is significantly cheaper, so you could get back on water being Byzantines with an earlier Imperial Age using your fire ships and the unique technology giving extra range to the fire ships. Lots of things Byzantines have going for them on water, not to mention that their castles are stronger as well, and buildings in general are stronger. They have more hit points than the generic ones. As for the other team, the civs are the same, but let's find the players anyway. Limonchik, I think we'll call him, in the teal here, also playing as the Italians, but up against Byzantines on the north side. And for the pocket, we have Vikings again for Kotparavos. And finally, on the south side, we have Bourbon with the Byzantines also going up against the Italians on the other side here. Dock in the back for the blue player could bit sneaky. Tells me he doesn't really want to fight on the front. Maybe he's actually going to attempt an early landing here with the Byzantines. Not completely out of the question. Byzantines have stronger buildings, as said, in general, so it also makes it harder to take out buildings for the landing. Russia F, on the other hand, seems to have plans to fight on the front side here, because they're both docking quite close to enemy side. Of course, it doesn't have to be an indication of landing, but it can be. See the dock builders taking the shore fish as well, which was an addition with the patch half a year or a year ago for the actually welcome change to allow the fishermen to actually drop off fish at the dock. That's just logical, honestly. Wait, what's happened to green here? Very late dock, perhaps? Those Kotparavos here. Oh! Those stupid wild animals, I missed that. There's not usually things happening early on these maps, but yeah. One builder down, at least maybe even two here, due to a stupid wolf to the side distance. A rough start for the green pockets here, significantly behind, believe me now, by two villagers this early in the game. And still in the Dark Age, obviously. Believe me, is going up at 25 population. And also has a front dock, so maybe the Vikings player wants to, of the Russia F team, wants to join in the fight early on from the feudal here. Let's see how it plays out, of course. The first player hitting the feudal age is going to be Oladeshek. Now dropping the second dock with the Italians here. That might not... Will it complete by the time of feudal age? Wow, 2 docks actually. 2 extra docks. So Oladeshek is going heavy on water here, whereas the blue player has 5 fish in the back here with the Byzantines and dropping a second dock a bit to the side as well. Triple docks producing for Oladeshek here. Seems to have a nice eco setup to get those fire galleys out early on here. Now finally we have the green pockets going up to the village as well. Got Paravos with 30 villagers up, definitely going for the Vikings fast castle here then. Whereas Belibi is making the galleys, so Russia are going for water domination here by the looks of it. Which feels like a good call for islands. If you control the water, it makes it all that much harder to land. Third dock going up for Mr. Moon as well, whereas the teal player has 2 docks. Viking player dropping a second one as well. Early longboats certainly could sway the fights here, but Russia F now with significant military presence on water. 5-3-3. Let's see for Oladeshek scouting here if he will find... Okay, I like that this goes straight to the side. Not really... Did he get a bit lucky there, or did they actually have some scouting intel telling that Bourbon might be side docking or back docking? Some good early aggression from Russia here. We have 3 docks for Bourbon as well, also going for the fire galleys, and being Byzantines firing faster, but for now outnumbered. Oladeshek gets a demo hit and keeps all his ships alive for now. But that faster firing rate can be scary once more fire galleys pop out here for Bourbon. Oladeshek will have to micro consistently here and has some weak ships here. He could pull back home for repairs. Gets that repair villager on the shore. Yeah, good engagement, I guess, for Oladeshek, who keeps a military lead over the blue player by far here, 10-2. On the top side as well, we have some significant push from Mr. Moon here. much more military for Russia F, and even the Viking player joining in the feudal fighting. Not too common. Oh, get the scout! A scout! Some flaring going on here. Red seems to have good grasp over the numbers over teal here. 12-6 shouldn't be any problem winning that fight alone, honestly. There is an issue with the Vikings player going up to the castle age though, but the Vikings player barely has any military, so these docks can be lost before the longboats can enter the playing field. Demo 1 for 1 there. Oladeshek will lose 1, but Bourbon with 3 military to Oladeshek's 8 still doesn't have a chance. Even with that faster firing rate, he will clean up these few ones, but Oladeshek obviously has more ships on the way. Mixing in a demo as well, no problem getting any demolition ship hits as long as there are only fire galleys in the mix from the opponent. Yeah, looking very solid for Russia after they're guarding both the north and south side, so even a sneaky landing is going to be difficult here for AsAsp. That's one dock down for the Italians. We have longboats in the making for Kotparavos, but will it be enough here? There's 10 military actually for the Vikings player. And fletching is in, but no Balkan arrow here. So nice galleys micro from the Vikings player. It's just a huge numbers advantage for Russia up here, and it's going to take the longboat micro of a lifetime to focus down all this. But they do have the range, outranging the galleys. Obviously, 5+1 against 6+1 here. And there's the cast stage for Believe Me as well. We'll be going for War Galley and keep that galley production. Military situation still well ahead for Russia up here. And they seem to be doing decent economy-wise as well. 1910. 50 military against maybe 20 something, almost 30 for the other team. Kotparavos will have to really hard carry this, but now he's up against Vikings war galleys here, and they do have more hit points than longboats after all. And here come the fire galleys, getting close to the longboats with the war galleys firing behind. This is bad news. Actually, if Akkal-AOE wins this side as well, he could come from the other side and they get a full surround on the longboats. Akkal-AOE is keeping his ships away from fighting right now due to the fact that he's about to reach the cast stage and go for the war galley upgrade. Longboats doing work though. Mr. Rune will be losing significant fire galley numbers here, but also keeps consistent flow of new ships joining in. AsAsp not really allowed to replenish numbers of water here. So the cast upgrades are in both for Bourbon and for Akkal-AOE. Bourbon does have the option to get +1 range for the fire ships being Byzantines, but for that he needs a castle and research Greek fire, so that's still a while off given the situation. Fishing ships will go down for Bourbon, and the score looking less than optimal here. Actually, AsAsp not too far behind the villagers, all things considered. Kotparavos has caught up here as well, being the earliest one to the cast stage. But that doesn't change the fact that Russia F still arguably has water domination, with Mr. Rune now also getting the Gallas Bourbon with the fast Imperial Age here. Interesting move. That means that by dropping more docks here now, we could get to fast fire ships. It's making more fire ships here, but I believe Byzantines get fast fire ships as well. And yeah, no castle, but fast fire ships that just shred galleys up close if they're allowed to get close enough. Or any ship up close. Oh, longboats are struggling now. But Bourbon is here as well with some fire ships. I think it's a good fight for Akkal-AOE to take now because yeah, you want to diminish the numbers potential of the fire ships before they can become fast fire ships. So kicking in just now for Bourbon, that's pretty late for that defense for the ships. allows for taking better fights when you have that defense upgrade in, especially relevant for fire ships. Wait, didn't he? There's no defense on those. Weird. So fast fire ship should be on the way, or galleon. That Imperial Age power spike could save the day here, but now believe me is making longboats as well, and with all the appropriate upgrades. No sign of any Imperial Age transition for any of the Russia F players yet, even if they have Byzantines on the team as well. Mr. Moon might be next. So Vladishek loses his forces over here. Blue not playing to Byzantine's full potential here with fire ships without that extra range. And he also takes Galleon without actually making any of them. I think he meant to go... let's just double check if they actually get it. I'm not talking nonsense here. Fast fire ship, yeah, I think he meant to take fast fire ship, but he takes Galleon instead, and I think those are separate researches, if I'm not completely wrong. Not sure whose favor, whose fight this is in favor of. Yeah, the yellow ships seem outnumbered by longbows here, they're stacking. But here come the reinforcements, and the overall military situation is again dominating for Russia F here. Yeah, losing numbers of water. AsAsp called the GG, and Russia F takes the win. So a quick browse to the scores here and update the scoreboard, and we'll get the second game going as well. Interesting choice by Believe Me not to go for Fast Castle Vikings there, since the other pocket did, but instead committing to the fuel fighting and taking naval control early on Kotpar was with nice KD ratio here, but never quite able to keep up with the army production of Russia F. And since losing water that early, they're not really able to get any advantage back either by landing the opponent. I see they slung the Byzantine player here, so that's how Bourbon was able to reach that pretty impressive 25-minute Castle Age, no Imperial Age timing. So that's it. Let me update the score for 1-0 for Russia F here. And give to on Arabia should be more familiar territory maybe for both teams. We'll see. Oh, I hear the Franks tune already. Already liking this. Okay. Arabia it is. Should be a familiar map for almost any Age of Empires 2 player. We have Believe Me in the pocket for Russia F here, with the Franks as said and heard. Probably going to go for scouts into knights, shouldn't be any surprises there in the team game. Vladishek to the left is playing Huns again on Arabia. I've seen him do this before in the league this season. Yeah, on one occasion he went Men-at-Arms Towers and followed up with Cav Archers, I think, so the options are many for Huns. Could even double up with the Knights if Russia are in a good spot early on. But we'll see how that progresses, what the plan might be here. To the right-hand side, we have Mr. Moon going to play the Archers here with the Britons. Britons very much streamlined towards Archers play. But a side effect of having Britons here is that the team bonus is that the archery ranges work 20% faster. So if Vladishek at one point needs to go for the cavalry archers, he'll actually create them 20% faster, which is a nice bonus to bring along. As for AsAsp, we have a Cuman's Pocket for Arabia for Bourbon. Interesting. I don't really think you can justify going into TC Cuman's Boom on Arabia without being severely punished, but remains to be seen. A bit of a double slaughtering of sheep there, a bit unlucky. 3 on wood for now, could be indicative of a scout build, opening scouts to the Cumans and played more as a traditional pocket hold here, pushing in the zebras as well. Scouts into 2 TCs and then extended village with scouts maybe for Cumans here, or simply just scouts into knights as NDC. The Cumans still have faster. Oh, look at this guy, both luring in there and blocking the elephant from attacking. Oh yeah, keeps luring. That was quite impressive. Yeah, so scouts play for the Cumans as well by the looks of it. On the left hand side we have Ethiopians for Potparavos, faster firing archers gonna come in handy. Pushing in the zebras as well to boost that food economy to more easily afford a drush or men-at-arms or whatever the plan might be here. And to the right hand side, maybe a bit of a concern for the Britons, unless you actually look at the win rates for Vietnamese against Britons, but Vietnamese also a strong archer civilization. Eco upgrades don't cost wood, so you can afford your initial archers more easily, and the archery range units also have extra hit points for Vietnamese. So that's gonna come in handy in fights in somewhat equal numbers. Britons do have that extra range they get in Castle and Imperial Age though, which can be a concern for any other generic archer's civilization. So 17, 18 pop. Did Limonchi lose on winter? Probably just a little bit of idle time here. As we have the Field Age kicking in for, believe me, going for the 19 pop scouts with the Franks here from pocket. Not too uncommon. We'll be getting those scouts out significantly earlier than Bourbon going for well, 40-21 pop here, yeah, 19 to 21 pop. Should give Believe almost a 1 minute head start to the next stage actually. Another check on the scouting move now. Dodges TC fire there, not any trouble for the starting scout so far. We'll see the walls go up, and what's the plan here? Don't see a barracks yet, so won't be seeing any Dark Age aggression here from Oladeshek, but barracks goes up at the timing for scouts here actually. Is it double scouts? Hasn't been taking in the gold either. Believe me, in the meantime, scouting the Vietnamese flank to begin with here, which by the looks of the base will be the first target for the pocket scout rush. 2 on gold for Limonchi would suggest men-at-arms here. I see the militia are in queue, and the timing seems to be on point as well for the 3 militia to move forward to Mr. Moon's side, but Mr. Moon just a few tiles off walling off the early aggression here, and by the looks of it going for the... actually going for the men-at-arms as well, maybe? No, just 1 military, 2 on gold. Straight archers then for the Britons. Wladysek finds himself a victim to the men-at-arms as well, but the scouting is on point and he's adapting to the situation here. Actually going for the Hunt's scouts from the flank here, not the most common play, but as long as the enemies are open, that could bode for some serious damage. 2 scouts, 3 scouts out now, in fact, to deal with the soon-to-be men-at-arms. There they are. And with the preemptive walls on the barriers, well, Jack hasn't really taken a single hit yet. He's waiting for the 4th scout number 4 before engaging against the men-at-arms, which I think makes sense. They're all kind of weakened, so that weakens the scout rush as well. But all in all, I think Wladysek is getting out of this from a nice spot. Even the range, scouts and archers maybe for Wladysek here is going to gold now. While Limonchik is currently just pounding away at walls and finding himself victim to the Britain's ranges. Archer popping out on the wrong side there, that should be one dead archer from Mr. Moon. But finds a bit of a choke point there to handle the enemy scout. We see human scouts on the field as well. No sign of a second TC, just going to be a kind of a wall off here and moving on to the castle age as soon as it is convenient. Kot-Paravos is walled off here, but looking at the walls, there's a... yeah, woodline seems okay-ish. Gold kind of exposed to Archer's Fire, and this woodline also vulnerable to Archer's Fire from Wladysek. So the Archers follow-up from Wladysek could do some work here on resources, even if the scouts don't. Scouts fight in the middle, very hard to tell the difference here between the colors, but looks like Believe Me has the better hand in terms of hit points here, and not to mention that it's the prank scout, so he's actually stronger no matter what until the opponent can get bloodlines. Wladysek just being plain annoying here, playing scouts and archers of his own. He doesn't need any pocket scouts. Seems to be doing just fine here, and Palisade Gate behind here prevents armies from easy entry here. He's up against Ethiopian's archers as well, they fire faster. That is going to be an issue when they are with similar upgrades. Well, again, like the previous game, Russia F seemed to have more consistent build tree production behind everything here. Believe Me with 7 scouts, I'd assume, and archery rangers working faster could have a play in this as well for the flanks. There's a flare to the right hand side where where Mr. Moon and Believe Me are gonna double up on green and teal here. Scouts numbers are in the on the higher side for Believe Me here, but archer numbers in return are higher for Limonchik, I think. Limonchik. Yeah, there's not that different. Still getting some decent damage done there. The setback could be that the human's pocket is getting free boom here, although the boom hasn't quite started yet, unless he did build a second TC. That could change things around, but it's also going to delay the human's cast stage, obviously. Believe Me now on the way up. So Cuban's villager count should spike up here, 43 now to Believe Me's 35. Believe Me will likely be putting down the second and third TC ASAP once the cast stage is in. And only 1v1 on the other side here seems like a good defense for Kot-Paravos thus far. Woodline still exposed though, Wladysek could get some snipes in there. And that might be exactly where he's headed as well. Some scouts from Logic down there, but Parvos has actually moved out with the feudal armies. 3 ranges in feudal, that's not something you see every day, unless the player is on the way up to the Castle Age. But it's certainly a way to keep up with the Britain's faster production, or Britain's team bonus on faster archery range production. Logic all the way to the Castle Age, so he's going to beat Parvos significantly to the crossbows. That's going to be huge as well. Not to mention that that unlocks the potential for cavalry archers for the Huns, making it easier to use that mobility to try and punish the Cuban's pocket as well. Players all around the place here. Limonchik still open at certain places here, but yes, Spearman out to defend. Pocket Scout still on point as well. And Castle Age on the way for the Cubans here, keeping a solid builder and the economy lead over the opposing Russia F pocket. $26 archers and staying home, of course, being on the way up to the gas stage here for the Ethiopians. Check with 29 military, so should be roughly the same size, mixing in some skirms. I think that makes sense as well when fighting basically a 1-1 on this side. And honestly, I would have thought that the Castle Age difference would be larger between Oladchek and Parvos, but it seems like there's not really a window of opportunity to exploit that earlier crossbow. Crossbow thumbing Bodkin in for Oladchek here, while his teammates are pushing with knights and soon to be Britain's crossbows on the other side. Britain's getting that extra +1 range in the Castle Age for the archers or crossbows. That could be huge here once the upgrades kick in. Bodkin and crossbow on the way now for Believe Me and Mr. Moon. The third TC is up for the Cubans, and look at the builder difference here, it's 16 builders. So still pretty solid boom for the Cubans here, allowing for probably more than, triple stables production. Ranks likely only with 2 for now, but 3 TCs as well, so there's a chance that Believe Me eventually can catch up here. Believe Me, obviously, earlier to the gas stage, did get more knights out earlier. Finds an opening in Limonchik's space, and is going to get some great raids in here, working together with a teammate. Gas stage isn't in yet, it's 50% only for Limonchik, and this is looking grim. The armies aren't staying together though, so this could be an issue for Mr. Moon, but Bourbon only has +1 on the knights here, so the Britain's crossbows will be doing work alone here. I definitely think Believe we should engage against the archers here. They're still not crossbows, even if it means Mr. Moon losing most of the archers at the enemy side here. Yeah, they're flaring like crazy. +2 is in, so never mind the Cubans missing the upgrades. Both flanks losing significant archer numbers here, popping into the TC to preserve the rest of the numbers before crossbow, but that was a lot of archers lost before that crossbow upgrade can be researched. Radocek is pushing and staying close to the hill on this side. Cavalry archers entering the field as well now. They don't have bloodlines, there isn't, not yet anyway. The elite skirms doing some work here. I mean, Bourbon has been busy with the knights on the other side, so can't really expect pocket knights to join in to deal easily with the Oladchek skirms here. 4 ranges, cheaper cavalry archers for the Huns, 4 ranges with consistent production of cow archers. These numbers are going to grow scary soon enough now for Oladchek. You can see that the teal player has taken a serious beating here as well. 28 villagers now, but the pocket at 80, so the collected villager count actually not that dissimilar between the two teams here. Looks like roughly similar army sizes for the pockets here. There are some scouts mixed in for believe me though, so there are more knights total for the humans. And look at the production as well, 3 stables consistently producing for bourbon. For the time being, only 1 stable for believe me here, but they have some great team coordination here with Russia F still. Wladysek seems to be wanting to hit the pocket here now with the mobility of the cavalry archers. There's definitely potential on this side. Distracting some of the pocket's armies can be good here. But believe me is catching up as well. Is believe me on 4 TCs now maybe. Now still just 3. Just consistent production of wielders behind this from all of the TCs. Hello, Wencho Baba. This might all come down to the right hand side here actually, with the good coordination of Believe Me and Mr. Moon. Again, the Britain's numbers increasing rapidly here, and they would always have the chance to outrange the enemy archers. Note that the Vietnamese, yes, he has more hit points on the archers line units, but it also doesn't have any armor at all, whereas the Britain's player has both armor research. So that might play in somewhat equally numbered fights as well. Alright, blue is gonna push back on Wladysek side now. Second easy for Wladysek, right next to the starting one here. Nice defensive tower doing work on the gold here, actually almost taking down that mangonel before it can hit anything. And thankfully for Wladysek, with the cavalry archer, he has the mobility to run back if needed and deal with these things. Still no bloodlines for the cavalry archers as far as I can see though, so that's a bit of a setback. And then it's called GG is called, and yeah. I think it comes down to the good coordination on the right hand side here of Russia F, with Believe Me and Mr. Moon completely able to focus on one flank alone, whereas Wladysek on the left hand side did his part in keeping Kotparovos busy and barely allowing them to push back on this side. So that is a 2-0 for Russia F. Let's have a quick look at the stats. Solid KD for Believe Me, there's 63 to 31, and Mr. Moon as well with the positive. Wladysek with a positive one as well. Keeping higher army numbers, more consistent production. And then it doesn't really help having a massive Cuban boom from the pocket, because your flank is dying meanwhile. Smooth 19 pop scouts there for Believe Me. I think that's 3 seconds off a perfect timing. And 100 villagers against 83 deal. Not too big of a difference as the Frank's pocket caught up there.